Bridget Norvell with the National Movement Association. I know you see me on every TV show, right? Yeah, but I'm back again. Now I'm on Glorious Cooking. Now I did have the host of the show, but she kind of reneged on me, so I felt like I should take over this whole show because I am making a good curry chicken dish. We were supposed to do rice and peas, but that's a whole nother story. We won't even get into that. But one thing about Jamaican dish, you can add in anything. Rice and peas go with everything. But curry chicken can go with rice. And we're going to add a little flavor to it by adding some shrimps with it. For y'all that goes to that fancy restaurant that's not supporting or sponsoring this show, they have curry chicken and bang bang chicken and shrimps, so we're going to use that little island flavor that they put with it. Now you have to remember, every island person cooks differently. We have our chicken breast here. You can use a little bit of everything, a part of the chicken. Wings, thighs, but cut up your thighs. A lot of people like their chicken cut up. That's a secret of curry chicken. You want to cut it up and have it in small portions. But Miss Jasmine that left me here to do her whole show. Yeah, that's right. I can do what I want to do. Okay, but she wants chicken breasts. So I decided to cook it with chicken breasts. So we have our ingredients here, and we have the curry powder. Now, curry powder, you can get this from any supermarket within your area. This is the Spanish brand, but as a Jamaican, we do like the cheap curry powder. And if you want to go out and search for different curry powder, there are all kinds of different curry powder. And I want you to really be aware of that, because there's spicy, super hot curry powder. So be careful of the curry powder that you get, and every one of them has a stronger taste than others. So this is going to have a little mild taste, but I'm going to spice it up because, like I said, I'm Jamaican. I cook different, like a Chinese restaurant. So we're going to add a little complete seasoning, boda. I think that's how you pronounce it. If I didn't pronounce it correctly, I know you Spanish people go ahead and email me and let me know. Okay, but this is a great seasoning salt. You don't have to use, as we see, we have sea salt grinder here, but if you're going to use this, you want to not use this, because with it being a seasoning salt, it has salt in it. So you can hold off on that, and it's great. And we have the black pepper, which you want to be, if you're going to use another curry powder, and it depends on how spicy you want it, you want to ease up on the black pepper. And I do use black pepper. And there's another important ingredient. I use Dale's steak seasoning for marinating the chicken. It's going to bring out that flavor that you're looking for. It's just going to be so awesome. Again, I cannot improvise enough that I am Jamaican. So if you're trying to sit here and get your pen and paper on the cups and the tablespoons, honey, I don't cook that way. Me and Emerald can get along. It's going to be, watch me and use it by your discretion, okay? That's it. So we'll be right back with curry chicken and white rice.
Big Girl Clothing. Plus sizes at great prices for the urban plus woman. Custom design pieces available in all sizes. Dresses, purses, hats, and a whole lot more. We can even help you fix fashion emergencies. Enter the next Big Girl of the Month at BigGirlClothing.net. Big Girl Clothing. Plus sizes at great prices. Fashions for the urban plus woman.
A&D Marketing Concepts, a marketing and promotions agency with a unique touch. We create ways to advertise your business and remain within budget. We promote fundraisers and design websites. A&D Marketing Concepts can produce your radio, television, and email commercials, and our press releases are always printed.
Visit us now at andmarketingconcepts.com.
In the book of Hip Hop Candy Shop, today's message is about bringing sweets to the street. I knew you'd like that. I knew you'd like that.
Okay, right now we're just cutting up the chicken. Remember I said earlier that you want to cut up all your chicken. You know, you have a whole chicken breast like this, you know, and I'm old school, so you know, I'm sitting here cutting it up, and I might not have on any gloves or anything, but you know, you make sure you wash your hands are clean, sanitized, and you have your whole breast. So what you do with the breast is just, you know, you take it and you slice it up. You know, you don't have to slice it up too small. You place it in your bowl. You don't want to slice it up too small because it does shrink. So the smaller you slice it up, the smaller the actual pieces. So you want to make sure, unless you're going to feed about 20 or 30 people, you know, then you want to go a little bit smaller, you're on a budget. But you can slice it up, you know, this is a good size. This is a real good size, you know. Some people like to take it and slice it twice, you know, and make it in fours. So it's by your discretion on how you want to do it. Like I said, you can use other parts of the chicken. You know, you want to take the leg. If you have a leg, if I had a leg, I would show you, but you would want to, you know, chop it, and where you have pieces of the leg. Sometimes if you have a butcher at a local supermarket, you can give it to them and ask them if they can cut it up for you. I forgot to tell you about the onions, which I have sitting in water right now. See, we have our onions that's sitting in water, and right here. And the reason why it's sitting in water, plus I have garlic in here too. And we have the garlic. Let's grab the garlic here. You know, you can take your garlic. You take your garlic, you know, for you amateurs that don't know about whole garlic, you know, you want to use a whole garlic. Open it up, take everything off, take it off of there. Just peel it off. You know, with me, what I do is sometimes use a knife too. Yeah, you know, so you're like, oh, that girl love a knife, huh? But, you know, just cut off the end. See, you cut off the end and just peel it off. Just peel off like any onion, you would peel it off. And then, see, the whole thing is off. So it's challenging. You know, you got to work with it a little bit. But just cut it up. You don't have to cut it up perfect. You know, I was sharing with our camera person, Miss Angela. Hey, Miss Angela. Well, I was sharing with her, my husband is the actual chef, and he has all these degrees and a license to be a chef. So when he see me cutting something, you don't do it that way. Look, we cut it up, it's going to eat the same way. See, if you notice the onions are cut up, but they're not really tiny. It's not tiny pieces. It's just enough not to choke off of them, because they're going to dissolve into the pan, and you want to make sure that they're cooked down. And I'm not an onion person that it just sits on top of there. I want to make sure that my onions dissolve really good. So, you know, this is good. And I have them sit them in water because if you notice, you cry when you chop up onions. Well, the secret is to sit them in water. And I don't know if I'm getting this totally correct, but from what I understand, the fumes from the onions, there's some kind of fumes on it that allows you to, it gets into your eyes and it makes you cry. So this is a great way of not having, for you to cry, because I can't get my makeup messed up. So, I sure wasn't going to cry. We're back. Now we're ready for our seasoning. Now I know you're saying, well, she never said anything about the shrimp. Well, the secret about the shrimp is that because shrimps takes, it doesn't take that long to cook. We're going to go ahead and work on the shrimp last. But you'll see how everything will be combined together. Now we're going to start with our complete seasoning. And we're going to make sure that we just pour it on here. And like I said, there's no, in our vocabulary, covered, baby, covered. That's all I can say is make sure it's covered. Look, see, this is about this much I've placed in there. And now you have your curry powder. Curry powder. And you know what? Some people put it in last, some people put it in the beginning, some people put it at the end. There is no rule of seasoning for this, because it's all going the same place. You got your pepper. Ooh, Lord, please don't let me sneeze. Ooh, now this is where you want to go ahead and take your hand and mix it up. Now, if you're the type of person that don't want to get deep down and dirty in the things, you can always find other ways of seasoning it. And you know what? I see I missed the chicken, but you know what? You can always still cut it up still, doesn't matter. You cut it up. And look how this chicken is nice, it's seasoned, and you might want to put a little bit more. There's another famous seasoning that I like to use that I did forget about, and I don't know if Miss Angela might have some. It's some Lowry's seasoning salt. And, she gave me the thumbs up. Lowry's, wow. Okay, yeah, Lowry's is really good to cover it. So, we're going to throw some on here later on. But we'll throw some on here. Now, to me, look at this. I am a person, and if you really like, when you say a light flavor, this would be maybe you. But this isn't me, and this isn't Jamaica. So you want to add a little bit more seasoning to it. You want to make sure it's nice and covered. There was another way that we used to taste Jamaicans taste. I hope they don't shut down any Jamaican restaurants. But we used to take our finger and we taste our seasoning that we placed on there. But we wash our hand afterwards. Sanitation is the most important thing. So you take it and cover it, because you want to make sure that the curry, you want to get that true curry flavor. And this is a good amount of chicken, and you want to, and like I said, the curry that was chosen is a very light curry, so you have to use more than you anticipate to use when it comes down to a very dark curry and more rich and flavored curry. So look at that. Look at that. That's how you see. That's how you would like your curry to look. You know what? I think I'll put just a little bit more in there just to make sure it's nice and covered. And because you want to make sure it's fully covered. Now you can use a spoon. I know you Americans will use a spoon, but it's all good. It's covered. It's covered. We'll be right back.
Unique Grow. All natural hair product. Try it and see. You won't believe it's not a weed. Dry hair, damaged and brittle hair, thinning hair, uncontrolled dandruff, hair loss from medical conditions, and alopecia can now all be treated with Unique Grow. Visit www.uniquegrow.com. Unique Grow. Try it and see. You won't believe it's not a weed.
We're headed to the pot. Now, like we said about the shrimps, you're wondering what happened to it. Well, we used some of the Dale steak seasoning. I did place the shrimp with the actual chicken as I was, if you know, I showed you how I just went ahead and took my hand and just mixed everything together. Well, the shrimp got in there too. With the Dale seasoning, I used about this much. If you get a full bottle, you're going to use about this much, to get it all nice and covered. I added a little bit more curry powder, and I added majority of it because, like I said, you want that nice curry taste, that curry flavor. So we have about this much left. So if you do purchase a bottle this big, your next meal you might want to go ahead and purchase another one, especially if you use this much chicken. This is called thyme leaves. You can also purchase it from a local supermarket. And like I said, you remember when I told you that you can put your seasoning in anytime. There is no steps, like you can put this in first, that in first. Only thing I recommend putting in last is your marinade sauce. Always put this in last, but you can also, if you forgot something, you can also rotate once this is in to put another seasoning in to bring out a little bit more of the flavor. So we're going to take some thyme leaves and we're just going to, I would say, I use about this much. Okay, let me show you how your actual food is going to look when you prep it. We have the thyme in there, we have the curry, we have the marinade sauce, we have the complete seasoning, a little Lowry's, for you southern cookers. But, you see how it looks? Nice and covered. You have your shrimps in there. So this is going to be a great meal. I have a pan ready. Now we can use really any oil. You don't want to put in like you're about to fry it. You're just sauteing it. Saute means just to brown it. A nice little brown color. It's not all the way cooked on the inside, but it's sauteed enough for the flavor to get in there. So, alright, we're now getting ready to put the chicken in the pot. And you want to make sure your oil is in, and you want to go ahead and just coat the pot because we're going to saute it. So, by using your tongue, the shrimp is in this ingredient, and you want to make sure your shrimps don't get in there right now because it's not time for them. So we're just dropping them in, making sure our little shrimp buddy don't follow along. Hi, I'm Bridget Norvell with the National Movement Association. You're watching Glorious Cooking. Let me tell you a little about the movement. The movement touches on financial literacy, career development, cultural dance, and computer classes. It's just empowering our people to get ready for the next level. You want to know more about the movement? Log on to www.themovementcf, that's centralflorida.com. That's www.themovementcf.com. See you there.
Real rap videos featuring the best in holy hip-hop. With me, your host, Angelin. Check out this third season with interviews from Curtis Blow, Blacklight the Blessed, Big City and Flux, Urban D, Vision, The Net, and more. Audiences everywhere have been checking out real rap videos with backstage interviews and more. Check out the third season of Real Rap Videos on the Faith Internet Television Network. Videos, the best in holy hip-hop.
It's on now. It's getting ready to boil. Once it comes to a boil, we have the rice on high. It comes to a boil. Then, now, you turn your stove down all the way. I'm going to make sure that the right eye is on. All the way to warm, or number 3. And then you want to go to number 2. And don't panic on your rice. Your rice will cook itself. Cover it once it comes to a boil, and it will just rise up, and it will be the most perfect rice. Now, some people like it sticky. I'm a sticky rice person, Kenny. But some people like it gummy. Some people like it grainy, like really loose. So that's based on your water. Really loose. Really, the water not all the way up to the top. You just want to level out your water. Really sticky and nice and lumpy itself, you want to add a little bit extra water. But it's all on you, and if you feel like you didn't put enough water, the safest way to make rice is not put enough water. Because you can always add water to rice. Don't stir it. Maybe you want to pick it up a little bit and see it's still maybe a little uncooked. Pour a little water in it. But you don't have to worry about stirring and doing all that. Just let the rice do its do. Let the rice do what it do. It does what it does. That's it. So we're putting in, what I've done is taken some of the chicken out to put more chicken in. As you take chicken out, you put chicken in. Because like we said, we're sauteing right now. And the onions and the garlic is sitting there nice and peacefully waiting for their turn. I hear my rice boiling over here. And we're going to let you take a look at it while it's boiling. Just to check it, I just went and took a little off on top. And you want to see, this is half gummy, half grain because it's still loose. But for those like myself felt like it, you know, a little sticky. You still have a little stickiness to it. As you notice, the pot, it's simmering down, and the gravy is nice, and you know, it's still loose, but sometimes you want it nice and thick, especially if you have that big family, you got to stretch it. So what I did is, what I've done is, this is regular flour. You don't want self-rising flour because you're going to have lumpy gravy, and it's going to take a little bit longer to cook. But this is just regular all-purpose flour. You take it, tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, maybe 3. Add some water. You want to stir it up. You want it nice and loose, like a paste. Looks like a nice paste, you see? And you take it now, you pour it in. You hear the boiling stop a little. Now, you pour it in gradually because it depends how thick you like your gravy. And some people like it very loose and watery. You know, it was when I moved to the South, I hear, oh, give me some of that thick gravy. But, you know, in Jamaica, we might not do that thick gravy, you know. Look at that. It's done. You know, I talked about the flour. You know, I added a little bit more because I like mine thick and spicy, like I told you. But as you see, it's nice and done. And we have the white rice around. And we put our chicken in the middle. And when I said, good, I see that little shrimp hanging out over here. So, you know, I have to take a little bite. We got some chives on there. And, I believe it's chives. That's what Jasmine put on top. Because I wanted to make it real pretty. You know, keep it real. Let's go ahead and taste this. And it's good. I think my husband said, when it comes down to the rice cooker in the house, that's me. Let's get good rice.
Our culture, our world, our perspective, our network. JerichoBroadcasting.com. Jericho Television Network. The future of black media.